Okay, a little earlier today I ground some whole wheat grain in my Optimum 9900 and created wholemeal flour, or whole wheat flour as it's sometimes called. Now I'm going to make this flour into a dough, and I wanted to show you how to do it in the Optimum 9900. So what we have in here in our jug is we've got 2.5 cups of the ground flour that I created. Now you can see that we've created a well inside, and we're going to pour our ingredients into that well within the flour. We also have here 1.5 cups of warm water, to which has been added a teaspoon of yeast and a tablespoon of honey, and I've let that sit for about probably, I don't know, between 5 and 8 minutes or so, until it gets all foamy on the top. That's what you want to see. You want to see that the yeast has been activated, so it's all foamy on top. I also have here a teaspoon of salt. I've used Himalayan pink salt, and a tablespoon of oil of your choice. I've just used rice bran oil in this particular case. Just a flavourless oil is fine. Now, a thing you also have to have at the ready when you're making this dough is a cup with your spatula in it, a cup of water. So here we have our spatula. This is actually the spatula that came in the box with the Optimum 9900, and we're going to use that to help bring the bread dough down from the sides of the jug, and it's just easier and less sticky if we have it resting in water all of the time. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is pour in our salt, pour in our oil, and we're doing that right into the well that we've created there in the flour, and pour in our water, yeast and honey mixture. Okay. Right. We'll put the lid on. We're just going to pulse this for a couple of seconds. We need to have the dial on high. Okay. So we'll just let it go for a couple of seconds, and then we will start bringing the dough in from the sides of the jug. Okay, so now we start bringing it in from the sides. Now what we're going to do is do this process about 5 times. We are going to put the spatula back there in the water. We're going to turn it on quickly 5 times. Might actually use the pulse function for this. Okay, and then we'll bring it in again. Okay, I stopped the camera because I thought, well, it's a bit boring sitting here watching me do 5 lots of 5 pulsings to make this dough. I also added about, it was between 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup more flour, just to, the dough was just a little bit too wet at that time. I think it's interesting to note when making dough fresh from whole wheat kernels, as we have done today, that the flour seems to hold more moisture because it hasn't been pre-ground and dried out in a factory. So all of the fantastic nutrients and minerals and oils that are in the whole wheat grains come out in the flour as well. So it's probably something to consider when you are making bread in the Optimum 9900, to perhaps just have a little bit of extra flour on hand just in case. Alright, so we're almost done. I'm just going to do 5 more pulses. Actually, I'll just pull the bread in from the sides one last time. It's looking really nice. It smells beautiful. I must say, grinding your own grain, it smells fantastic. Okay, so we'll do 5 more and then we're done. Okay, here we go. Pulling it in from the sides of the jug. And then to create a ball of dough on top of the blades, we're just going to pulse it for say 2 seconds until we see the dough ball rise up. Right, there we go. Alright, so now have a look at the dough. There we go, looks fantastic. Tip it out onto a floured surface. Not easy to do with one hand, I have to say. Now, to get the dough out, if it doesn't just fall out, which normally I would do if I was not holding a camera with the other hand, you can also twist the, I don't know what this bit is called, the twisty thing at the bottom, and the dough will come out. Just one moment, I'll just use a spatula to get the rest of this lovely dough out. You can smell the honey, you can smell the wheat grain, it just smells fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to give this a very quick knead and then let it rest for a little bit and rise. I was going to make some bread, but now I think I've got a hankering for pizza, so I might change my mind. I don't know. But the elasticity is great in this bread. For any of you that are experienced with bread making, you'll know that you need to get a really good feel within the bread. The elasticity seems to come together quite quickly when the bread has been kneaded well, and this bread has certainly mixed together beautifully. And now it's feeling very smooth. Okay, I don't know why my camera cut off the last few words what I was saying when I was kneading the dough previously, but here we go. I let the bread rise for probably about half an hour or so. It's beautiful. I've made a lovely pizza for the family for dinner tonight as a treat, so I'm just going to cook this now. I'll be back later to show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. And yeah, the bread dough works wonderfully in the Optimum 9900. Alright, the pizza is out of the oven. It looks fantastic. It smells fantastic. The crust is wonderful. I know that actually wasn't a pizza crust that I made, but it turned out fantastically anyway. It was just a normal dough crust. So, a normal bread dough crust, should I say. So there you go. Making dough in the Optimum 9900, it's easy, it's fast, and requires minimal mess, which is fantastic. So give it a shot. I think you'll be really impressed.